Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. Welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. So, we're just waiting for people to show up. If you're here, say hi in the comments. I'd love to let me know that you're here. Howdy. There you are. We gotta let the iPad charge for a little bit. So I got some stuff we're gonna talk about for the day that I'm excited about. You know, ever since January 1, I've started rolling out changes to how I'm coaching weight loss. And now that we're in February, it's time for phase 2 of the changes. The things I've been sitting on for years, time to start slowly trickling out the rest of the time. But don't worry, here in a little bit, we'll also do my favorite part of the day where we celebrate our wins, we celebrate our victories from the previous 7 days. Very excited to do that. Yeah. All right. All right, indeed. Hold on. I gotta send a text message real quick. I thought I had sent it, and apparently I didn't. Do y'all do that? I do that a shocking amount of times where I will like have a text queued up. I'll get distracted before I hit send, and then I forget to hit send. It's funny how often I do that. Funny how often I do that. All right. Make sure I didn't actually send it. Yeah. All right. Now, where are you hailing from, everybody? I see several of y'all are telling me where you're coming from. You got some Idaho. Hello, John from Idaho. You hear the next line from the podcast when I say it. You're a byproduct of your, and I hope that your brain just automatically populates the rest of it. Yeah, it's definitely a classic ADHD thing to forget to hit send. It happens so much. So much. I've been doing a lot more TikTok live streams too. I've been really enjoying that. I've been enjoying going live a lot more in general. I will say the one thing that I've been doing a lot of, like more than normal the last couple months, or 4 or 5 months, has been journaling. This really, really makes a big difference, journaling. And I'm telling you, you can resist it, you can fight it, but it really, really works. Let's see, where are some of y'all hailing from? So we got Georgia, Oklahoma, Utah, St. Paul, Michigan, Alabama, St. Louis, Ohio, South Dakota. All right. Lifestyle habits, routines, environment, community, belief systems. Right. It's good. I want you to have that baked into your brain. Oh, former Jonesboro. Living in Virginia. Good morning. All right. But yeah, journaling. I'm telling you, people, like if you want to really work on your emotional eating, this is such a great thing to do. Like so many people are like, how do I deal with my emotional eating without doing the other things that actually work and help me with my emotional eating? Like, no. Stop looking for something that nobody's doing. Start with the basics first. It's amazing how well the basics work for a lot of things. But did I trim my facial hair? Hold on. We got to switch. Did I shaved. Oh no. I clipped it. Oh no, I didn't notice that. Oh shit. Well, that's awesome. Hold on. I got to go look at this in the mirror. Here, let me give you some hold music real quick. Hold on. No, that's not the right button. We want this one. Here, I'll be right back. I got to go look in the mirror. I haven't done that in a while where I mess up my facial hair. I didn't even notice. That's funny. So, well, I'll figure out how to balance that out. It'll fix itself in a week, but anyway. ADHD highway. Hey, look, a squirrel. Yeah, it is. Before we do wins, let's see, is the iPad charged enough? I can use whiteboard. Yeah. I forgot to put my iPad on the charger last night, so it was dying. But I need my whiteboard. Okay. Let's hook it up here. No. Need my whiteboard app. There we go. Here we go. And then I need my notes so that I draw the right thing. All right. So a lot of people, I've been for years, years, have been getting asked a lot of repetitive questions around weight loss. But the number one question that I'm asked all the time? That is this. How do I lose weight? That is the number one question I'm asked. Obviously, right? But let's really think of this question for a second. I'm not always asked it verbatim this way. Many times I'm also asked, is XYZ good for weight loss? Right? I'll be asked that a lot, but it's the same thing. How do I lose weight? It's just more specific. Or is XYZ bad for weight loss? Which is just, again, another more specific version of the main question, which is how do I lose weight? This is the thing we're trying to solve. I was like, okay. So we were like, well, how do I lose weight? Well, let's take a look at this thing. Lose weight. Why do you need to? Why do you need to lose weight? So a lot of times I'll ask a person this and they'll start giving me all of their reasons why. What will happen once they lose weight? I'm like, no. You're missing the question. It's why do you need to lose weight? Really at its most simple, it's because I have excess body fat. Right? I need to lose weight because I have excess body fat. Why do I have excess body fat? Right? A person's like, well, how do I lose weight? Well, why do I need to lose weight? Because I have excess body fat. Why do I have excess body fat? And so when a person gets into this, they start thinking it is the foods I eat. People desperately hope and wish that that's the answer, but that's not the answer. It's not the foods I eat. Sure, that affects it a little bit. But why do I have excess body fat? It's real simple. Because I have a weight gaining problem. I need to lose weight because I have a weight gaining problem. And so many people, what they're trying to do is head on tackle, how do I lose weight? What's the most effective and efficient form of getting the weight off my body? But they're not ever stopping and going wait a minute. What is my weight gaining problem? What causes it? What triggers my weight gaining problem? Yes, you need to lose weight. Yes, you got to do all the things that trigger weight loss. But if you don't address the weight gaining problem, when you're done losing weight, the weight's going to come back. Many of you, your life over time looks like how mine did, right? So this is weight, this is time. And your weight didn't do this. Your weight did this. Well, I mean, we draw a trend line. We can see that that's going up. All right. So, well, if we add all of the weight loss up, for the most part, most of you, you've lost plenty of weight over your life. Not all of you, but many of you have. But what we got to focus on is what's causing this part. What's causing the gaining bit? And so a lot of people desperately wish it is the foods I choose. People so badly want this to be the answer because it'd be the easy answer, honestly. You just find the foods that are causing weight gain and stop eating them. And yet, that doesn't work, does it? Because there's something else that's causing it. So when you go off to lose weight, you've got to lose weight in a way that addresses the weight gaining problem. You got to lose weight in a way that addresses it. So for many people, we'll draw a different thing here. Let's just, for the sake of example, we'll just do it as a trend line, even though we know it's a zigzag. So a lot of people, what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to get their trend line to do this right here. That's what they're wanting their weight loss to do. Some people want it to do this. That's not possible. It's impossible. The reality is the better weight loss is instead to do this. That's the better way to do it. And a lot of people don't want to do this part. But you see, what you're doing here is you're solving weight gain first. Not last. Most people are trying to solve weight maintenance last. Let me lose the weight and then figure out how to keep it off. No, that does not work. That does not work. Most of you have tried that. Millions of people every year try that, and it does not work. It does not. So how do we cause this? How do we trigger this? Well, there's lots of things that we need to do. The first thing is you have to recognize that your results that you're getting in life okay, the results that you're getting in life are a byproduct of your lifestyle, that's not the eraser. There we go. Your habits, your routines, your environment, your community, and your belief systems. Okay? All the results in your life can be tied back to these. So if you want to get new results in life, you will have to go change all of these in a very, 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 very real way. If you're obese, if you only have to lose 20 pounds or so, you might not need to make a lot of changes. If you're over 100 pounds overweight plus, you're going to have to make basically a life transformation. Like you're going to have to become a different person. Like your whole life's going to look different on the other side of this journey, which is a big reason why it needs to look slow. So many people try to leave their life intact. That's hard to do. That's hard to do because your lifestyle contributed to being overweight. Your habits contributed to being overweight. Your routines contributed to being overweight. Your environment contributes to being overweight. Your community contributes to being overweight. And your belief systems contribute to being overweight. So you have to go change all of those things. And so when a person's like, how do I lose weight? Well, you change these things. And it's like, well, that's going to be slow and take a long time. So we need a strategy that is going to encourage you to go change these things. And so a lot of people, and I tested it. People want to jump to calorie tracking. Right? I want to lose weight. I'm going to go to calorie tracking. That's not a diet. That's just tracking calories. Well, a lot of you turn it into a diet. You turn it into a shitty diet with a whole bunch of rules, like thou shalt, thou shalt, and thou shalt nots. Right? It's all these rules that you have to stick to. And a lot of times people will bring in and they will use shame, guilt, anger, criticism, judgment. They'll use all these things to get themselves to do things, right? And so what it does is the person ends up not really tracking calories correctly, not doing it very well. They're getting all up inside their head. And then they end up, whenever they're not tracking calories, they do something else instead. They don't really know what they do, but they're just like, well, it seems like I'm an all or nothing person, a person thinks, right? I'm an all or nothing person. And so anyway, I mean, you're not an all or nothing person, but I understand why you might think that. You might be living like an all or nothing person. No doubt. So, what do we do? Back to the question. How do I lose weight? What is the plan? I need the plan. I need to know what are the AKA the rules. So we have to be very, very careful about rules. With weight loss. Very, very, very careful about rules. We have to set rules that you can stick to, that you can follow. We want to set you up for success, but they need to be rules that if you follow them, it will give you the results you want. But also, we have to make sure we are dealing with weight loss, which isn't the problem. That's the solution. So we need to know that we're dealing with excess fat, right? That's project 1. Remove excess fat. But then we also may need to make sure we're doing project 2, which is my weight gaining problem. We have to make sure we're dealing with this too. All right? We have to make sure we're dealing with this too. If you don't deal with both of them, when you get to the other side, yeah, you might have lost all the weight, but when you left your weight, you didn't deal with your weight gaining problem. This is why so many of us, when we lose our weight, we gain it back because we left the weight gaining problem intact. All right, now, before we go any further, now that we're a little bit into the live stream, it is now time to do victory celebrations. I love to do the celebrations. We're going to do those today. So I'm going to play a little video. And what I want you to do while the video is playing, I want you to go ahead and put in your wins in the chat. We'll bring up some music. We're going to do some celebrating, some whooping, and some hollering. If you impress me, if you do something that's like, oh, that's pretty awesome, you're going to get a... Oh, wait, where's my... Oh, right. No. That's not it. You're going to get the celebrations. You get the things on top of the screen. That's because I'm on the wrong mode, right? I'm not on the win mode. But I'd love to. So whatever, anything you did in the name of your goal, any victory, any celebration, anything you crushed, just go ahead and put it in the chat here right now. We'll celebrate it in a second. And so I'm going to go ahead and play this video. And when this is done, we'll move to celebrations. Can I tell you why I lost weight? I used to watch my brothers play around on the playgrounds like this with their kids, my nieces and nephews, of which I have many. And I could never do this. I would always be the guy just standing off on the side, not able to play like my siblings could. They're just running around this exact playground all the time. And why did I lose my weight? It's so that I could do this. I could play on the playground. And I thought we could maybe talk about the why of weight loss for a minute. That was something that no one had ever explained to me until I guess figured it out. I had heard the idea of a why, but no one ever really helped me connect. You need a reason to go through the trouble of losing weight. You need to have a powerful thing waiting for you on the other side of the journey. Because the challenge I always had with weight loss in the past was I would lose a bunch of weight, and then once it got hard, I would just quit. Now, I would never call it quitting. I would always call it, well, I'll get back to it on Monday. I'll get back to it tomorrow. I'll pick it back up. I would always say that. I wouldn't. And what it reminds me of is it reminds me of a story of an old friend named Scotty. So I was living in DC, and it's in my early 20s. And he had just graduated college, and before starting his career, he was going to go hike the Appalachian Trail. I believe it was going to take 6 months or something like that. Real big deal.
And he had been out there for a long, long time. He ended up coming off the trail to do, if memory serves, it was for a wedding, and he was going to be off the trail for a couple of weeks. And he couldn't get himself to go back because it was so miserable on the trail. And once he had gotten off of it and gotten out of that headspace and got a taste of the comfy life again, he could truly see how miserable the trail was, and he couldn't get himself to go back to it. And I think that's sort of what it's like with weight loss, right? It's going to get hard. You're going to take a break from it. You're going to find yourself in a situation where weight loss isn't convenient, can't really be in a deficit, or maybe you don't even want to. Maybe it's like a vacation or something, or you just find yourself traveling and whoopsies, ended up going over your calories. It happens to all of us, but you got to have a reason to get up, knock the dust off, and go hit it again and get back to it. It's your why, it's your reason. And if you look at all the great movies where the hero gets knocked down and they gotta dig in deep, and what they're digging in deep is they're digging in deep and finding a reason. They're finding a why. They're finding something they can connect to that will compel them to push themselves harder than they've ever pushed themselves before. That's what a why is. That's what a why does. And I had one. I never had one like this in the past. But one of the whys was I admitted to myself that I want to become thin. I'd actually admit that, because then I wouldn't stop until I had the goal. Now here's the thing, I did in the very, very, very beginning, I said all I'm gonna pay attention to is did I feel better? But I knew the ultimate goal was to become thin. The ultimate goal was to be at a place where someone would use the adjective of thin to describe me. But I knew I couldn't focus on that. And later when I got into endurance running, I began to realize how I got lucky that I did that, because when I was running a marathon, I am not thinking about anything beyond about mile 4 when I start, right? When I start a marathon, all I'm thinking about is the next 4 miles. It's somewhere between 4 and 6 miles will be the first aid station, right? That's all I'm thinking of. You're never paying attention to the whole thing other than the goal of you're gonna do it, and you pay attention to the whole thing once you've run it. You're like, whoa, I did all that. But with weight loss, if you get in it and you're like, I gotta lose 100 pounds, I gotta lose 100 pounds. You're gonna just be like so overwhelmed, you're gonna wanna quit. But you gotta know that's ultimately what you're going for, but then you gotta let that go, just like the marathon. I'm gonna run a marathon, then you gotta let that go and just focus on running the next few miles and get really good at that. And so sometimes you gotta I wanna lose 100 pounds, and then let that go and I just wanna feel better and I want my clothes to be looser. I'm gonna focus on making some lifestyle changes. I'm just gonna lose the next 5 pounds. I'm just gonna worry about that, right? And you just keep going. So find a why. You need a why. I'm hungry. I want lunch.
Okay. All right. Let me bring back my video. There we go. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready for wins? I think it's time. When the music shows up, we know what that means. I saw you typing the wins in the comments. I saw it. All right. Let's see. Celebration time. Is this the right one? Yeah. That's it. It's time to celebrate them wins. Let's scroll up. Let's scroll and find the first wins. Y'all were doing good. Typing them up. So, anything from the last 7 days. That went well in the name of your goal. Could be a scale victory, could be a non-scale victory, could be a behavior change you made, could be something you said no to, you always said yes to, could be something you said yes to, you always say no to, could be an epiphany, a breakthrough, whatever works for you. Let's go through and find these wins. All right. Where's the first one? Where was it? Hold on. Here it is. All right, we'll start here. Went to the gym on Friday, even though I told my husband I was too tired. That shocked the both of us. Hold on, wait. I want the applause for that one. Shocking yourself, doing something out of character. Worked through a jammed ankle. Figured out active recovery is better than rest. That is true. So I stretched and got movement in. Now it's good as new again. Active recovery really helps. Doug, 7+ hours of sleep every night. That's a big one if you've been really struggling with sleep in the past, especially. All right. Let's see what else we got next. What's next? Sarah, 5K walk this morning. Second time ever. Didn't it feel fun to knock a 5K out in the beginning of the day? Just kept telling myself, you can do this. It's amazing how well that works. Just to give yourself a little pep talk. Be like, you can do this. Gave myself permission to do it. And before I did it, it was done. That's how winning looks. That's what it looks like. Looks just like that. Great job, Sarah. Great job. Put them wins in the comments. Any win. No win is too big. No win is too small. Learn to finally start parenting myself and telling myself no. Oh, I love it when that happens. When you start changing that internal dialogue in your mind, talking yourself into a new thing. That's like what Sarah was just talking about, right? You can do this. You can do this. You encourage yourself. Works so well. Tiffany, I was around a bunch of food when I wasn't hungry and didn't eat any. I also am leaving some triggering treats on the counter for exposure therapy. All right. I'm working my rewiring my brain on it. All right. That's new level unlocked, new achievement. Moving to a new level of this game. I like that. I like that. Finally got to a normal BMI after 3.5 years of steady weight loss. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's a big win. Making it there. Lots of other things to celebrate, of course, but that's always a big one when you get a little very concrete line in the sand, so to speak, you crossed. Went to a walk in the park. When trying to up my steps and rehab my ankle. Decided to challenge myself and see if my body could do a 5K. Nailed it. I'm sore, but I freaking did it. I'm sore too. I did 2 long runs this weekend, right? I ran 7.5 miles and I ran 3 miles the next day. My legs is tired. Today's just going to be a walking day. Tired legs like to be walked on. All right, Grant, notice that my default sitting has changed. Okay, body wants to get up and move. So not my head says to move. My body does. Yes, that's it. You get that antsy feeling, right? Your body just wants to get up and go do something. That's how you know your body, your metabolism is shifting. Your body's getting to a state of wanting to move. That's how it works. Got over 9,000 steps each day this week after raising my step count to 9,000 steps per day in February. Oh, awesome. I don't remember the last time I ever got that many steps in a week. Wow. Doing so good there. That's how it's done. You just slowly raise the bar, and then you stay there, and eventually this new thing becomes the normal. You're like, wow, how long have I been doing it this way? All right, went hiking in 20-degree weather and went 2.5 miles further than I had ever done before. I'll give you an air horn for that one. Pushing past limits. Finally took the time to sit down with 8 keys to end emotional eating and reread it and annotate it after I got my steps in, of course. What stood out to you? Throw me in the chat. I'd love to know what stood out to you on a second reading. Anything you still carrying any ideas with you? Had a cold and couldn't taste anything. Decided to use it as an opportunity to really listen to my body's hunger cues. Smart. I like that. Thinking outside the box. When life gave you lemons, you made some lemonade, I guess. Isn't that what the saying's for? Turns out most of the time when I was hungry... Come on, music. Come on. Had a cold... All right, there we go. Turns out most of the time I was hungry, I just wanted to taste something. Oh, interesting realization to have. Powerful realization to have. I've lost my first 2.5 pounds listening to hunger. That's a big milestone to cross. Very big milestone indeed to cross. Happy that you crossed that one. All right, what's our next one? Hiked my first mountain in Arizona, Denny. Bravo. 1.8 pounds from my 10-pound goal by just listening to hunger. You're almost there. How does that feel? You go breaking all the rules. Losing weight, not tracking calories, and just listen to your dang body like it almost knows what it's supposed to do. I'll bet this taught you a lot about yourself, about your body. Fell down the stairs and was able to pop right back up. Oh, okay, good. Whew. Wouldn't have been able to do that in the past. Oh yeah, that's a fun non-scale victory to have. In-laws came in to visit 6 months ago. Couldn't join any of the walks. They came back this weekend, and yesterday I walked 1.5 miles with them. Wonderful, Kathy. Stay on top of those. Stay on top of them walks, right? That's awesome. I'm glad you're able to join them with that. Fiona went to the gym and on a cruise and really enjoyed it. Felt very comfortable, like I belonged. Because I love it. I love that feeling when you realize like you belong in there just as much as everybody else does. Awesome. Jeremiah, extremely hard week. Sorry to hear that. Had some quit. I had some quit moments. Did the call to quit show up? Did the call to quit arrive in your mind? Sounds like it did. Hold on. My favorite. All right, you got to get the clap. I got to get the clap right there. All right, let's get back to this. Just got up one more time. Showed up today. Got my average steps up to 12,000 steps a day for a month now. Excellent. All right, we're going to go quick because this is the last song. Brianna, didn't eat when I was hungry, even when I went to a restaurant when everybody else was eating. Excellent. I win. Scale hasn't moved in a long time and finally had the hard conversation with myself and understood that I'm eating more than I should and I lie to myself about it. A moment of self-honesty and reflection. Self-honesty and reflection 100% is a gigantic, amazing, big win. Great job. Because it all begins with increasing awareness to yourself. And I'm going to the gym and I feel amazing, feeling strong. Y'all, you impressed me. Continuing to show up when you stumble. I watch you stumble. I know. The stumbling's part of the journey. It's okay that you stumble. It's okay that you fall down. Nothing wrong with it. But what impresses me and it motivates me and inspires me is that you always get back up. You always get back up. You really, really do. And that's great. That's what inspires me too. You know, it's easy to get up when you're already crushing and kicking ass. But when you're in the beginning, the first half of the journey or the victories and celebrations or the progress you've made is new, it's there's just something more to it when you get back up then. All right, so let's pick back up where we were talking before now that we had our little celebration interlude. We have to remove excess fat, but we also have to deal with our weight gaining problem. So this is where my coaching program has already started shifting. Those of you in the guild have already felt it. It's going to start bleeding into my social media as well and how I do things. And that is, many people think that the way I promote and talk about weight loss is by using calorie counting. People think that this is the foundation of my approach to weight loss. And I understand why people think that, because I needed to test and experiment for a while to understand how calorie counting affects all different people. But also I was hesitant to go all in on my hypothesis onto what causes weight loss. And I needed a few years of testing to see if my hypothesis worked. So I do believe that calorie counting is an important skill to have, but I also think having the skill of going to work out, I believe that is a skill that is worth having. I also think knowing how to adopt a walking habit, I believe that is also a skill. See, these are just tools. These are just skills that you pick up that you can use along the way. But you see, there's actually one thing that sits at the core of my weight loss program. It's been in plain sight the whole time. The difference is I have just been hesitant on how confidently I'm going to push it as this is the way. That's the part. I've been very like, you find it or you don't. And I've been observing who finds it and who doesn't and what works and what doesn't. I've been looking at success and looking at not success. And because I wasn't certain. And so here's what I've come now after years of helping people lose weight. Here's what I've now learned. And this is going to tie into how things are going to change with how I do coaching. So first, we have the core four. The core four goals. Most of you know what they are, but in case you don't, the core four goals are to become thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. The basic foundation begins with clearly identifying what it is that you want. What is your desired ultimate outcome? We have to be clear on that. Before you do anything, before you make a single strategy, before you make a single decision, you have to have clarity on what is the desired end result. And this is what sits at the heart of my program is I help people become thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. Thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. All 4 of them, not 3 of them, not 2 of them, not 1 of them, all 4 of them. They are 4 separate and distinct goals. They are interdependent. They affect each other, but they will all progress at different rates. They all need different things. Eating healthy, for example, does not help you become thin directly. Eating healthy helps you become healthy. Eating less food does not directly make you more healthy. It makes you thinner. But becoming thinner does help you become a little bit healthier because it reduces visceral fat, as an example. That's one of other many things. But it also improves your happiness and your being in shape because we improve your quality of life. We improve your health span, right? So the core of my program sits the core 4 goals. And so which of the core 4 do we start with? Many people want to begin with healthy. If that were going to work, it'd worked by now. People have been trying to start with healthy for a long time, and it has a very piss poor success rate. And so I realized it is, in fact, to start with thin. That's why my entire brand is becoming thin. You see, I wasn't sure what kind of coaching I wanted to get into when I started, because in many respects, many people that have worked with me for a long time, they've said it. I don't draw attention to it, but now I'm going to, is I don't help you lose weight. I help you level up your life. That's what I'm helping you do. I'm helping you win across the board. But we need a focus. We need one project that if we focus on this one project, everything else will get better as a byproduct. And losing weight doesn't make your life better. But the act of working on it, if done the correct way, will cause your entire life to get better. Calorie tracking does not make your life get better on its own. Keto does not make your life get better. GLP-1s do not make your life get better. Weight loss surgery does not make your life get better. These just override the impacts of your life on your body for a while until eventually everything wins out. So what we have to do is we have our goals and we're going to begin with the pursuit of thin, but we have to do it in an empowering, correct way. And so we begin with our first project, which is eat when hungry. Psych, that's actually not it. I tricked you. That's not it. It's not this. This is not where you start. Yes, this is where you end up. This is the goal, is to get here, but we don't start here. We don't start here. No. It's when you're sure you're not hungry. Don't eat. There are times in your life when you are 100% sure you're not hungry. You know you're not hungry. You don't kind of know. You know you're not. You know you're not. Don't eat. You don't eat. Well, what if it's lunchtime? Don't eat. Yeah, but what if I'm out with family? Don't eat. Well, but what if my favorite food is in front of me? Are you hungry? Are you sure you're not hungry? I'm sure I'm not hungry. Then you don't eat it. Well, what if we're going out and socializing after? Don't eat. But what if I want to eat? Are you sure you're not hungry? Yeah, I'm sure I'm not hungry. Then you don't eat. You only eat when you're maybe hungry or for sure hungry. That's where it starts. It starts there. And what's interesting is when you begin to do this, when you begin to work on when you're sure you're not hungry, this creates awareness. You begin to realize you're living your life in 2 states on a spectrum. There is, I'm hungry. Like you're sure you're hungry. You're not kind of sure you're hungry. You're 100% positive. And then then we have the other side when you're not hungry. And you begin to realize that it's a bit of a spectrum. And yes, somewhere in here, it gets a little fuzzy. You're not like, am I hungry? Am I not hungry? But remember, we have these hard lines where you are certain you are hungry and when you are certain you are not hungry. And what we want to do in the beginning is become practiced at waiting until I'm here to eat and not eating when I'm here. And when I'm in no man's land, when in doubt, wait it out until you're sure. This right here will stop weight gain dead in its tracks. If you do this, this will stop weight gain dead in its tracks. But here's why this is so important. and not calorie tracking. Because you see, calorie tracking and many other diets allow a person to hide their emotional eating in plain sight. They hide it in plain sight. They schedule their emotional eating. They move their calories around so that they can have food in the end of the day when they want to emotionally eat all the things. We have to have a way of losing weight that has you deal with the underlying root cause. Remember, the underlying root cause is weight gain. So what do? We focus on this. And what will happen is, as you do this, as you work on this, you will become aware of something if it is present in your life. If it is not present in your life, when you do this, this will just work. But more than likely, many of you are going to do this, and this is going to shine a spotlight on emotional eating tendencies. It's going to shine a spotlight on your emotional eating tendencies. And the thing is, a lot of people, they don't actually want to work on this. But if you don't work on this, your weight loss will be temporary. Do you want to lose weight and gain it back, or do you want to lose weight and keep it off? We need to make sure you're losing weight in a way that you're going to keep it off. That's what's so important. You have to make sure you're losing weight in a way that you're going to keep it off. And so every time you eat food, here, you need to go, why? Why? If you eat food here, you don't need to ask that question. You're good. You're hungry. Your body needed food. You ate. It's fine. Now you have to drop the judgment, right? For this to work, we have to drop judgment. All right? Which means there is no good food and there is no bad food. There is just food. We've got to get into this place. You have to get into this place. If you don't get to this place, this does not work. And if you don't get hungry, this does not work. That's why my program sort of breaks if you use a GLP-1, because when you're using a GLP-1, you're not getting hungry. I need you to get hungry so that you know it is safe to eat. It's safe to eat now. I'm hungry, and I'm not going to judge my food. And then when I drift from here to now I'm no longer hungry, I stop eating. And I need you, when you get over here and you're still eating, to be like, oh shit, I'm eating. Why? And this shines a spotlight on your emotional eating. And then you begin to work and address the emotional eating. And this is what I've created in the Guild. This is the foundation of everything I'm doing. We have to address emotional eating. We eat so you're hungry to stop weight gain and to flesh out emotional eating, to smoke it out of your life and create awareness to it. Because you see, when you go to work on emotional eating, a lot of people are like, oh no, I'm emotional eating. How do I stop emotional eating? How do I stop emotional eating? All right, now before I keep going, I want to do a check-in. Is this making sense? Are y'all with me? Are y'all seeing the point? Give me your thoughts. What are you thinking right now as you're hearing, as you're observing this, right? What is it? What is it? What are you thinking? What are you realizing? Is this all stuff you're like, yeah, no, I get this. I agree with this. Or you're like, this is an interesting way to see it. I've not thought of it this way. Tell me in the chat. I want to hear from you. I know it takes a couple minutes for it to go around. By the way, also, if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor. Can you smash that like button? I want to start getting the YouTube channel in front of more people, and hitting that like button definitely helps. So if you don't mind, just give that a little bit of a crunch over there. Just go, cost you nothing, and it really helps to do that. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. All right, so Bonnie, it's on point. So we're going to get to the next part. So Sarah's spot on. The thing about this is, I've realized, is if you're trying to lose weight quickly, you're not going to want to do this, because if this is working, you may not lose weight for months. You might just maintain or only drop a handful of pounds, right? Oh, thank you for hitting this. Thank you for smashing the like button, everybody. Thank you. All right. So here's what's really interesting. When a person begins to create awareness to emotional eating, they think like, okay, well, what do I do instead? That's what a person's often thinking. All right, I don't want to emotionally eat. What do I want to do instead of emotional eating? Tell me, Chris, what are the new tips and tricks that I could use? Yes, you do need mitigation techniques. But just as we've been going deeper, we need to go deeper. We need to go and ask a new question. Why do you want to emotionally eat? Why do you want to emotionally eat? Because you see, emotional eating, we'll just do EE. This is the effect of a cause. So we want to solve emotional eating forever. We want to solve it for good. We want to solve it once and for all. So yes, you do need mitigation efforts. Like I'm wanting to emotionally eat in the moment. What can I do instead? What can I do instead of emotional eating? That's a Band-Aid. We need a permanent solution. What is the cause of emotional eating? Wow, why is that pencil not working out? What is the cause of emotional eating? Once you identify that, there we go. I erased too much. Once you identify that, well now, what if the urge to emotional eat just never arised? What if it never arised within you? You wouldn't need all this stuff. If the urge to emotional eat never happened, you wouldn't need to know what to do instead of emotional eating. And that's why in my weight loss program, we start with thin. And that's why we start with hunger, because doing these two things shines a gigantic, huge spotlight on emotional eating. No, it is not healthy coping mechanisms. It's not. Healthy coping mechanisms leave the core problems intact. Yes, you need healthy coping mechanisms. You do. But that is just aspirin for a headache. Those are Band-Aids. We got to solve this forever. I don't want you to get thin and gain it back. I want you to become thin and stay thin. I want you to become healthy, happy, and in shape forever. Forever. So that means we have no choice but to deal with the cause of emotional eating. We have no choice but to deal with the cause of emotional eating. And so now gets to, and then those of y'all who are in the guild are going to have already been realizing, you've already been seeing me lay the groundwork. I've already been laying the groundwork for some of this, right? For what we do instead. All right. So what we do, we have to work on, hold on, we're going to have to clear some space here. You know what? We don't need all this over here. I don't need that no more. All right. So what we do, if we want to solve emotional eating once and for all, we have to work on your life, your actual life, your for real life. So many people want to work on weight and they don't want to work on their life, but they're inextricably linked. Your weight is tied to your life. If you want to become thin, healthy, happy, and in shape, you have to change your entire life. Don't make that rule, Julia. Don't make that rule. You're going to emotionally eat. You have to know what to do when you do it. You have to know how to be okay with failure. You just made a perfectionism goal. No emotional eating, none. Right, that's a goal. It's fine to have that. But make sure your goal goes, what happens when I fail? You're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot. It's important that you get back up. right? It's not important that you don't fail. That's not a problem. Failing is good. Failing is important. What's important is that you fail and then practice getting back up. If that makes sense, if what I just said there, if you're like, yes, Chris, that's the answer. It's not that you don't fail. It's you get good at getting back up. Give me some love in the comments. Give me some love in the comments, right? Let's help Julia see it, right? Because Julia gets it. Julia, you're right to set this goal, but you're making it too black and white. You are going to fail. And I need people to help back me up here that failure is okay. It's the getting back up that's the important skill. So if you believe that too, if you've practiced that in your own life, not in theory, only tell me if you've done it in your life, that you're like, I see it now. It's the falling down. That's not the problem. It's the getting back up. That's the thing. It's the getting back up. That's the thing. All right. Tell me now. Tell me true in the comments if you believe that. Right. I know several of y'all here do, which is why I'm comfortable calling that out. And I got to stall for it because it takes a minute for the lag of the delay of live stream. But while I'm doing that, we're going to go ahead and move on. But tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat now. Yeah. All right. So in your actual life, we have to look at several categories because more than likely your urge to emotionally eat is coming from parts of your life. Your weight is an unintentional byproduct of other problems in your life. This is why Weight Watchers doesn't work. This is why doctors can't help you because they don't know this stuff. They don't think about this stuff. This is also why psychiatrists might be able to help you, but they don't always understand the linkage on what to do on the weight loss in a way that fleshes out these problems and brings the problem front and center. So the first area that we have to look at is relationships. Relationships. Now, with relationships, we have three major categories. So we have your social, we have your family, and then we have your love life. All three of these impact you. And if you are having problems in one of these, this right here could be causing the urge to emotionally eat, which is causing you to eat. This right here could be causing you to want to emotionally eat, which is causing you to want to eat when you're hungry, which is messing up your ability to become thin. And so when we say, I want to become thin, I'm noticing I'm eating when I'm not hungry, which means I'm emotional eating. Why am I emotionally eating? It's because I'm stressed about something with a family relationship. To solve it for good, we got to get all the way to the deepest root cause. All right. So now this is just one, right? You may not have this. Some of y'all, your relationships are just golden. They're just golden, right? So you don't need to worry about it, but don't worry, there's other categories. The next category that's really important to look at is financial. Financial has several categories. We have income, spending, and savings. Hold on. And then debt. We got to look at these. Any one of these could be causing problems in your life. But here's the other thing is, what if your romantic life is causing problems with your spending and your debt? And all of these are linked. You're going to have to work on that. What if you're trying to maintain a social life, which is massively increasing the spending because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it's shining a spotlight on an income problem or a spending problem or both, which is in turn creating a debt problem. And all of these over here could be causing you to emotionally eat, which is making you where you're wanting to eat when you're not hungry, which is messing up your becoming thin goal. But when you go to work on your becoming thin and you're like, I only want to eat here, but I keep eating when I'm not hungry because I'm emotional eating. When I trace it back, I see it as because of these categories right here. Now I know where I need to go do the work. I want to solve it forever. Okay. That's not the only category in life. Maybe your financial life is bang on spot perfect. Some of y'all, your financial life's fine. So then we have another one, which is your purpose. Many people have not found their deepest purpose in life. They have not found their purpose. They have not found the thing. They have not found the thing that they feel that they have been placed on this earth to do. This thing that they are uniquely qualified and set up to do. And there's no one purpose. Everybody has their own purpose. You got to find it. And sometimes a lack of purpose causes a person to become incredibly fucking bored. You sit at home and do nothing but just watch TV and consume everybody else's creations because you have no purpose. You have no mission. You have nothing you're striving for. It could be simple. It could be nothing. It could be simple as I just want to be a great mom to my kids. It could be that. I want to be a great member of my church community. It could be that. You need a purpose. You need a thing to focus on that brings you joy, that brings you satisfaction in life. You need it. It's important. But that's not the only category. We have to look at another category. This other one gets a lot of people. Self-worth. Many people have a pretty bad self-worth. Sometimes this gets looked at as self-image, right? They got a bad self-image. They got a bad relationship with self. And so we have to heal, right? This is where we do our emotional healing with our past, reconciling what's going on in the past. We have to deal with our baggage. For many people, the reasons why they're unable to become thin is because they keep emotional eating, and they keep emotional eating because of unresolved things from their past. They may have their purpose, they may have their financial life in order, they may have all the relationships, but there are things from their past, their baggage, that are causing them to feel depressed and anxious all the time, and they're trying to make the feelings go away, and they're managing these feelings that are being created from the self-image, self-worth, self-healing things. They're trying to make the noise go away with emotional eating, which means they're regularly eating when they're not hungry, which means they're making it hard to become thin. You see how they're working on the becoming thin, and only eating when you're hungry causes you to see it. You can't hide it. But when you're counting your calories, you can hide it. When you're going on a diet, you can avoid dealing with this because you're allowing yourself to bypass needing to deal with all of this. Okay, but it doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop here. Then we have to look at your profession. Are there two S's or two F's? I don't know. Your profession. Profession doesn't mean what you get paid for. You retirees, what's your profession? What do you do? What's your occupation? What's your vocation? Okay, you retired from earning money. Woohoo. Big fucking whoop. Now what are you going to do with your life? You're going to sit around on like a bump on a log and do nothing? Really? That's your plan. You worked hard to do nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, enjoy doing nothing for a while, but eventually you're going to need a purpose. You're going to need a purpose. And what if you're a very lucky person and you can find a way to tie your purpose to your profession, which in turn will bring healing. And then when you don't feel like you're going to work, it's going to improve your financial life. And when all of these are in order, all of a sudden you're going to find your relationships in life just become so much better. And when you have your self-worth worked on, all of a sudden working on your purpose, your financial life, your relationships, your profession become a lot easier. We know there's more. There's more. Because we also, when we realize when you're trying to eat and what's causing you to emotionally eat, another thing that causes a lot of people to emotionally eat is they have bad philosophies. But we need to have life philosophies, and we need to have goal-based philosophies. They're two different things. They're two different things. Because when you work on your life philosophies, this helps the emotional healing, which helps you with your purpose. And if you can get your purpose aligned with your profession, it's going to make it even easier to work on your financial life and your relationship life. And because you've already learned the philosophies of good goal setting, it helps get you there. All of this stuff you will find and begin to work on because of this. Every time you cross this line in the sand, when you are sure you are not hungry and you're eating anyway, why? Why? And you go deal with the why. Yes, you do the mitigation efforts as best you can, but why? And that has been the core part of my program. That's why when I first started the Guild, I started off not with diets, not with hunger. I started off with how to work on your life, how to level up your life, because that's what it's really about. We have to take your life and make every single part of it better. You're big because there's something wrong with your life. Something in your life is not the way you want it. Something is out of alignment. That doesn't mean you're miserable. There's plenty of joyful, happy people that are big. But something's not right. Something's off. It might be one thing, but we got to find it and deal with it. We got to lose weight in a way that forces you to come face to face with it, forces you to. And then we level up your life. That's why I got to teach you the success principles. That's why I spent an entire year creating NeuroShift. Because I got to give you the skill sets on how to change your thinking. Because remember what I just said one of the things was that you had to work on? Your philosophies. NeuroShift helps you with this. NeuroShift helps you on your purpose and your self-worth and your healing. We got to work on all this stuff. I've been starting backwards. Been making all the content, everything I do to do that, and doing the weight loss as best I can. But now that I know, now that I have all that there, it's time to start focusing on the right thing. You eat when you're hungry. And you don't eat when you're not hungry. And then when you eat when you're not, you know you're not hungry, you need to know why. And you use one of these to find out why. Use a video journal to find out why. Use your OSP network to find out why. You do research to find out why, and then you begin to work on it. So I have a list of things that I will be publishing in the Guild of things that you have to work on. Mental philosophies that you must focus on adopting and changing. As an example, perfectionism is number one on the list. If you have to start with working on perfectionism. You have to. If you don't, you're going to get stuck. All right, so that's it for the day. Just wanted to kind of roll some of this out here. We'll be talking about this a lot more. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this stuff. Instead of shifting my social media strategy on what I talk about, and I'm also shifting my coaching, which already started that last month. So all of y'all in the Guild, you've already started feeling it, right? You've started noticing like, wow, Chris is really focusing a lot more on hunger than he ever has before. I've always focused on hunger. Again, if you go back in my content, I've been saying all this stuff the whole time. I was just being gentle about it because I wasn't 100% sure. I was test subject 0. And I've been having lots of test subjects. And now that I've had enough results with real world actual testing, I'm like, no, this is it. This works. And then, of course, research, observing this weight loss landscape. GLP-1s was an interesting thing to see come on the scenes. And I had to that slowed me down because I had to figure out that threw some wrinkles into my understandings that I have since figured out and understand now. So I understand the role of GLP-1s and all this. Have a great day, everybody. Hey, if you enjoy this and if you are unaware, I want to just remind you that I do have a podcast. New episodes come out every Friday. New episode dropped this last Friday. We talked about emotional eating. You can find this on all your podcasting platforms. Just search for Becoming Thin or search for Chris Terrell Podcast, and that'll take you to the podcast. New episodes come out every Friday. Free content there. I got almost 250 episodes designed to help you on your journey. If you're looking to get paid support and you want to get into my coaching program, if you want to work with me, go to imnotquitting.com. That's imnotquitting.com. And we'll get you set up. We'll get you going on your weight loss journey. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I go live. Do me a favor while you're here. If you could just smash that like button, just give it a good crunching right there with your finger or with the clickiness of the mouse. It really helps put the live stream in front of more people. I want to get it out there. If you found this helpful, please consider sharing it on your social media platforms. If something stood out to you, that'd be really, really helpful. I'm really wanting to push the YouTube channel a lot more this year and get it in front of more people. All right, have a wonderful day. I will see you all when I see you. I don't know when that's going to be. Actually, I do know. If you're in the Guild, I'm going to see you all this week. And if you're not in the Guild, I will see you next Monday for our next live stream. Talk soon.